The first light of dawn broke over a land scarred by years of conflict, painting the horizon in hues of crimson and gold. In the quiet prelude of the morning, Captain Daniel "Danny" Thompson, an American soldier hardened by countless battles and the weight of loss, sat alone on the edge of a weathered cliff overlooking a valley that had once been a thriving town. His eyes, shadowed by grief and tempered by resolve, reflected memories of home, family, and the promise of a better future. Yet today, those memories were eclipsed by a haunting determination. Humanity's survival depended on him. Danny's daily life had been one of sacrifice and hardship. From the early days of boot camp to the grueling training in remote, unforgiving terrains, he had learned that the cost of freedom was often paid in blood. Despite the scars both visible and hidden, he maintained a quiet hope that one day, his courage and determination would be enough to protect the innocent. The world had grown tired of conflict, yearning for peace, yet it seemed fate had other plans. Rumors had spread of a mysterious force emerging from a realm known simply as the Death World, a place where death reigned supreme, and where the very ground exuded malice. For reasons unknown, these beings had declared war on humanity, challenging the very essence of life itself. On that fateful morning, as Danny gazed at the shattered remnants of what was once a bustling community, his thoughts were abruptly interrupted by the distant sound of alarm sirens and the roar of unidentified engines. His instincts screamed that the threat was closer than anyone had anticipated. In an instant, his mind raced back to the day he first heard about the Death World. A cryptic message intercepted by military intelligence warned of creatures whose strength defied mortal understanding, beings capable of dismantling armies with a single gesture. They called it a challenge, a test of humanity's mettle. And now, the challenge had arrived. Within hours, the once peaceful town transformed into a war zone. Massive, shadowy figures emerged from swirling mists that descended like a shroud over the valley. These were not ordinary foes, they were abominations born from the darkest corners of the cosmos, with skin that glistened like polished obsidian and eyes that burned with an eerie luminescence. As the creatures advanced, their very presence extinguished hope, leaving terror in their wake. Yet amidst the chaos, Captain Thompson's voice rang out, steady and commanding, rallying the desperate defenders. The battle was nothing short of apocalyptic. Explosions shattered the silence of dawn as artillery and high-tech weaponry met supernatural might. In the midst of the fray, Danny fought with the ferocity of a man possessed. Each bullet fired, each strategic maneuver executed, carried the weight of every sacrifice that had ever been made for freedom. But as the conflict raged on, it became clear that the Death World's forces were not merely invaders, they were a force of nature, bent on annihilating humanity in a single, decisive blow. In the thick of the battle, as Danny ducked behind shattered concrete and dodged energy blasts that scorched the earth, he encountered a creature unlike the others. Towering above him, the being exuded an aura of despair and dominance. Its skeletal form was draped in tattered remnants of what might have once been regal armor, and its voice echoed like a death knell across the battlefield. "Humanity is weak," it boomed, its words laced with malice. "Your spirit is destined to crumble beneath the weight of our power." That moment, frozen in time, ignited something deep within Danny, a raw, unyielding defiance. With a cry that pierced the cacophony of war, he charged toward the monstrous figure. In that instant, the battlefield seemed to slow, every heartbeat and every breath a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Danny's determination surged like a tidal wave, and though his limbs trembled with exhaustion, he pressed forward, defying the darkness that threatened to engulf them all. As the battle waged on, the tide began to turn, not solely through brute force, but through the ingenuity and resolve of a single soldier who refused to bow to fate. Danny's actions became a beacon of hope for his comrades, a rallying point that sparked a renewed will to fight. His strategic maneuvers, born from years of experience and a keen understanding of human resilience, outsmarted the relentless onslaught of the Death World's minions. With each fallen enemy, the American soldier's legend grew, whispered in the chaos as the embodiment of humanity's undying hope. But the true test was yet to come. In the midst of the mayhem, as explosions rocked the battlefield and the screams of both man and monster intermingled, an unforeseen twist sent shockwaves through the ranks. Intelligence reports had long warned of the possibility of a hidden master, a commander of the Death World's forces who orchestrated their every move. And now, amid the carnage, that figure revealed itself. Cloaked in shadow and exuding an aura of calculated menace, the master challenged Danny directly. "You think your valor can defy destiny?" it hissed. "Your sacrifice will be the beginning of your end." The confrontation that followed was both brutal and poetic. In a deserted corridor of a bombed-out command center, Danny faced the enigmatic foe. Their eyes locked in a moment of silent understanding, a clash not just of weapons, but of ideologies. The soldier's heart pounded with memories of every fallen friend, every tear shed for the countless lives lost. With every step, he carried the collective sorrow and hope of a nation. The master, however, fought with a cold, calculated determination, its every movement an echo of the Death World's relentless design. In that dimly lit arena, words became as potent as bullets. "You challenge humanity," Danny growled, his voice echoing in the empty space, "but we are defined by our ability to rise, to fight, to love, and to endure. You may have come from a world of death, but we are the living, bound by our dreams, our courage, and our unbreakable spirit." The master's laugh, hollow and chilling, reverberated around them. "Your spirit is but a flicker in the dark. I am the inevitable night." As the duel intensified, it became clear that the confrontation was more than a battle, it was a symbolic struggle between the forces of oblivion and the enduring light of human hope. In a climactic moment, as energy crackled in the air and the ground trembled beneath their feet, Danny found himself pushed to the brink of exhaustion. But with a surge of inner strength, fueled by memories of his family, his fallen comrades, and the promise of a better tomorrow, he unleashed a final, desperate assault. With a roar that defied the encroaching darkness, he struck true. The impact of his blow shattered not only the creature's form but also the very foundation of the Death World's resolve. For a moment, silence reigned, a silence that spoke of both devastation and deliverance. The enigmatic master crumbled into dust, its dark influence dissipating into the ether as the remaining forces of the Death World faltered. In that heart-stopping instant, the battlefield transformed. The oppressive mists began to lift, revealing a sky slowly reclaiming its natural light. The relentless tide of death and destruction was finally halted, all thanks to the unwavering courage of one American soldier, yet, even in victory, the cost was profound. Around him, the ruins bore the scars of battle, buildings reduced to rubble, lives lost beyond measure, and the heavy silence of a war that had forever altered the landscape of humanity. As Danny stood amidst the remnants of chaos, his uniform torn and blood staining the earth, he felt the weight of every sacrifice. The valor that had carried him through the inferno was tempered by sorrow, for every victory was a bittersweet reminder of the lives extinguished in the struggle for freedom. In the days that followed, as humanity began to rebuild from the ashes of that epic confrontation, Captain Thompson's legend spread like wildfire. His actions were celebrated not as the triumph of violence, but as the embodiment of a spirit that refused to yield. In quiet memorials and rousing speeches, people recalled his words, that even in the face of overwhelming darkness, the human heart could ignite a flame of hope powerful enough to dispel the night. In interviews, survivors recounted how they had witnessed a lone figure charging into the abyss, a symbol of defiance against the forces that sought to erase humanity's legacy. His courage became a rallying cry, a moral lesson that transcended the horrors of war. Schools taught his story as a testament to the fact that every individual had the power to change the course of history through unyielding determination and compassion. As the seasons changed and the scars of battle began to fade, Danny withdrew from the public eye. Haunted by memories and burdened by the silence of those who were lost, he sought solace in the quiet corners of nature. Yet, even in isolation, his soul remained forever intertwined with the fate of his people. Every sunrise reminded him of the day when a single act of valor had turned the tide of an interstellar invasion, a day when hope triumphed over despair, and when the human spirit proved that it could never be truly defeated. In the twilight of his life, as he sat beneath a sprawling oak tree on a peaceful hillside far from the battlefields, Danny reflected on the tumultuous journey that had defined his existence. The war against the Death World had been fought on countless fronts, on the scorched plains of battle, in the quiet moments of loss and remembrance, and in the silent prayers whispered by T.